So we are in chapter 5, verse 24. Any questions on anything before we start with the text? So in 24 he says, "He who is happy within, who rejoices within, who is illumined within, that yogi alone, becoming Brahman, gains the bliss of Brahman." So in 24 he gives internal sadhana. So this word sadhana means, the word sadhana.
Sustained effort.
Yeah, spiritual practice.
What is it?
Spiritual practice. The self-development practices that you put in. Sustained effort, yeah. It means the sustained effort that you put in towards your spiritual goal. So in 24, he talks about internal sadhana. In 25, he talks about external sadhana. So internal sadhana is for those people who have reached a more advanced stage of development. Right? So in 25, he starts to discuss these ideas, but we'll bring it in now. It's the difference between an extrovert and an introvert. All right? So in other contexts, you'll hear these words. Temporarily suspend what you know about the words introvert, extrovert. So here there's a specific meaning. It refers to the direction of a person's attention. An extrovert is someone whose attention is directed outwardly. An introvert is someone whose attention is directed inwardly. All right? And it's due to the presence and pressure of desires that our focus of attention is going out into the external world. Right? So remember the etiology of desire. There's a sense of incompleteness within, a sense of discontent. Because we have that sense of incompleteness, what happens is that desire forms, thought flows from me, the individual, to some object in the external world, with the fond hope that by acquiring and enjoying that object of desire, the sense of incompleteness will go away. And it does, temporarily. You get that temporary sense of satisfaction. But of course, it doesn't address the cause of the desire. And so the desire reignites itself at some later point, and off you go again. So you get this continuous cycle of desire, action, desire, action, desire, action. So an extrovert one is therefore one whose attention is always going out because they have plenty of desires. Everything in the world stimulates that. I want that, I want that, I want that. So an introvert is someone who has gone through sadhana, gone through spiritual practice, and as a result, they have reduced their desires. So what that means is because there's the fewer desires, the attention doesn't get dragged out into the external world anymore. And so the example that we've given a number of times is, imagine you're reading a newspaper and you go through the advertisement section and you see, the local opera is in town. If you've got no interest in opera, no desire whatsoever, you'll just glance over it and you won't even register it. You don't have that desire, so you don't react and go out. Now, if you do have a strong desire, if you love opera, then you immediately notice it. Aha, and out you go. And you pursue that area of interest. Right? I remember reading something, they asked, what do you think the most eye-attracting word is for, signs and newspapers and that sort of thing, and advertisements? What's the one word that just... Sale? Free. They said free. If you put the word free in there and highlight it, it just drags everybody's attention. Because everyone wants something for free. Everybody wants something for free. And so if there's something we can get you for free, what is it? That's something you would never even think about buying. You don't want it, but because it's free, they'll take it. So that's a good indication that where there is an interest and there's a commensurate object outside, bang, out we go. So if you have very few desires, there's nothing in the world that will attract you. And so naturally, as a result, your attention resides within. And so because that is a result of sadhana, you have a higher ideal. So the object of your attention is internal now. So whenever you have an ideal, that means that your attention is being directed within. Because the ideal is internal. There's no such thing as an external ideal. You might practice in the external world to advance your ideal. So you serve the community. You go out and do good works for your community, and so on and so forth. Build a children's hospital, the example we sometimes use. So you're going outward with your activity, but the intention behind it is, I must serve my community. I've been given so much, I have to give back. So that's an internal recognition. So the focus of your attention is going inward. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? It's that conscious thought force. So this is the definition of thinking that he has in the Vedanta treatise. Thinking is conscious thought force. So anytime we are thinking about the ideal, it means that we're consciously placing our attention on that thing. And the moment we relinquish our effort, that thought disappears. So that's why holding an ideal is an introverted practice, because it's directing the attention towards the ideal inwardly. So here he's talking about internal sadhana. So he's talking here about a shift of focus. So extrovertedness then means that the focus of your attention is primarily on the external world. So the reason that our attention is on the external world is because we believe that by acquiring aspects of it and by enjoying aspects of it, I can become happy, I can become satisfied. The problem with that is the impetus to do that is increased when we do it, which is another way of saying that when we function on desire, desire increases. Right? And so by shifting the attention from the external world to the inner personality, we are effecting a change in the direction of our thinking.